Red alert across the DMV. Our star QB is back under the knife. And this time, it could cost us everything. Why does the medical staff keep making the same mistakes that have wrecked entire franchises? Meanwhile, the heart of our defense just collapsed. Our sack leader is out, and the Sharks smell blood. Mahomes, Darnold, and Goff are circling, ready to feast on a bleeding roster. And right in the eye of the storm, a veteran with the most impossible mission in the NFL. Can we survive Arrowhead without our season blowing up into 1,000 pieces? This is critical, folks. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and find out the emergency strategy Quinn is keeping under wraps. Sticking around to the end might just save our season. After everything we've been through with this team, after years of watching mediocre quarterbacks crush our hopes every Sunday, we finally had something real. Jayden Daniels wasn't just another quarterback. He was the answer. The Heisman winner, the number 2 overall pick, the guy who made us believe again. And now, just when we started dreaming big, reality hits like a linebacker on a blitzed third quarter against the Cowboys. Shemar James comes flying off the edge like a heat-seeking missile. Daniels has the ball. He pulls it in, and bam! The hit we all fear. I saw his hand grab that right hamstring, and I swear I felt the pain of every Commanders fan in the DMV. Because we know what it means to lose your star quarterback. We've lived it too many times. Monday's MRI confirmed what Dan Quinn called a non-significant injury. Low-grade hamstring strain. You know what that means in NFL language? It means we got lucky, but it also means our 24-year-old guy, the same one who already missed time this season with a knee issue, is going to be watching from the sideline while Marcus Mariota tries to work some magic against Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead. And here's what's really frustrating. Daniels was completing 61% of his passes with 1,031 yards, 8 touchdowns, and just 1 pick in 5 games. Add 211 rushing yards and another score on the ground. This kid wasn't just playing well. He was exactly what we needed. A dual-threat quarterback that keeps defenses guessing. But here's the part that's been keeping me up at night. You think this is just bad luck? I'm telling you, this is Daniels' second major injury in just his second season. Last year's Offensive Rookie of the Year is already navigating a bumpy road that could shape his entire career. So now I ask you, is our medical staff doing everything they can to protect this kid? Or are we making the same mistakes we've made with other talents in the past? The organization is playing it smart, no doubt. A source close to the team confirmed they're being extremely cautious. They don't want a minor injury turning into a season-ending disaster. And I applaud that, because rushing a quarterback back with a hamstring issue is the perfect recipe to turn 3 weeks out into 3 months. Ask any team that's made that mistake. But while Daniels is wrapped in bubble wrap, the reality is brutal. We've got to face the Chiefs, the Seahawks with Sam Darnold playing like a man possessed, and the Lions with Jared Goff running the best offense in the NFC, all without our most dangerous weapon. You know what that means. It means every player on that roster has to level up. It means the defense has to be flawless. It means there's zero room for error. And here's my biggest concern. Daniels is on a 4-year deal worth $37,746,650 with a $24 million signing bonus. The franchise used the number 2 pick on him. There's a 5th-year option they can pick up in 2028. This isn't just a football investment. It's a massive financial one. And every injury, every missed week, every question about his durability affects not just this season, but the entire future of this franchise. Look at what happened to other young quarterbacks who dealt with early injuries. Some never got that explosive confidence back. Others got more cautious, lost that spark that made them special. I believe Daniels has the mindset to bounce back, but I also believe the organization needs to make serious changes in how they're protecting him. Because at the end of the day, this season is already showing cracks. The roster's been gutted by injuries at multiple spots. But when Daniels is healthy, when that kid has the ball in his hands, he gives everyone in the D.C. area hope. He makes us believe that finally, after decades of mediocrity, we've got something special. So the strategy is clear. Let Mariota steer the ship against Kansas City. Keep Daniels away from any unnecessary risk. And pray that when he comes back, he's 100%. Because if there's one thing we've learned in this league, it's that the teams who win championships are the ones with their star quarterback healthy in January. And we need Jayden Daniels ready to lead this team when it really counts. But do you think 3 weeks of rest will be enough? Or are we seeing the start of a worrying pattern that could haunt Daniels his whole career? Now I ask you, do you trust this organization has finally learned how to handle a franchise quarterback the right way? Because the Commanders' history doesn't give us many reasons to be optimistic. If that shocked you, wait until you hear this. Because what's happening on our defensive line is absolutely brutal. And I'm not being dramatic. I'm being real. Losing Dorrance Armstrong isn't just losing another player. It's losing the backbone of our pass rush at the worst possible time. After years of watching this defense be average at best, we finally had someone making a real difference. Armstrong wasn't just a team sack leader. He was the guy raising the level of the entire D-line. And Dan Quinn, the same Dan Quinn who built elite defenses in Atlanta and Dallas, said Armstrong was really starting to leave his mark. When your head coach says that, it's not just locker room talk. It's real recognition. Now let me hit you with the numbers, because stats don't lie. According to NFL Next Gen Stats, when Armstrong was on the field this season, the Commanders had a pressure rate of 41.2%. You know where that puts us in the league? Third in the entire NFL. That's elite defense. That's pressure that wins games. But without Armstrong, that rate drops to 36%. Still respectable. That puts us at 12th. But that 5-point drop is huge in today's NFL. It's the difference between forcing a quarterback into a bad throw and giving him time to pick apart your secondary. And here's the scary part. The defensive ends stepping in for Armstrong are Jacob Martin and Von Miller. Two solid players, no doubt. But their combined numbers this year are brutally honest. 31 pressures on 231 pass rush snaps. That's a pressure rate of 13.4%. Meanwhile, Armstrong was at 19.1%. See the gap? That's not just significant. It's the difference between a defense that scares quarterbacks and one that lets them get comfortable. Injury Armstrong suffered Sunday is separate from the hamstring issue that already had him questionable. This new one is a knee injury, and the team called it significant. That word, significant, in NFL speak means we're not seeing him anytime soon. And when they placed him on injured reserve Tuesday, it confirmed our worst fears. This guy's out for a while. And here's the cruelest part. We'd already lost Dietrich Wise Jr. and Javonte Jean-Baptiste to earlier injuries. So Armstrong wasn't just our best pass rusher. He was basically the only healthy one left with real production. And now we're literally out of options at a critical position, right before we face Patrick Mahomes, Sam Darnold, and Jared Goff in back-to-back weeks. Let me explain why this is catastrophic. In today's NFL, if you can't get pressure with your front four, you're toast. You have to blitz more, which means leaving your corners in one-on-one coverage. And against elite quarterbacks like the ones we're about to face, that's defensive suicide. Mams will shred any blitz you send. Darnold's playing with confidence and will find the gaps. And Goff, with that Detroit offense, will turn every third down into a nightmare. Quinn knows this is a disaster. Right after the game, he said he and Adam Peters were meeting to figure out next steps. And Tuesday, they announced the re-signing of Jalen Holmes, the defensive end they cut before. Week 7, but let's be real. Holmes had 9 tackles and 1 QB hit in 83 defensive snaps before getting cut. No sacks, no tackles for loss. Those aren't numbers that inspire confidence. Holmes might be part of a rotation, but he's definitely not a one-for-one replacement any NFL team would want. It's like slapping a Band-Aid on a wound that needs stitches. It helps a little, but it doesn't fix the real problem. And you know what really worries me? Quinn also said they're exploring outside options. That means they're desperate. They're looking at free agents, maybe even trades. There's talk about Jermaine Johnson too, or Will McDonald. 4 from the Jets. But getting either of those guys means giving up draft picks or cap space we don't really. The trade deadline is November 4th, 13 days away. But our next game against Kansas City is in 5 days. How the hell do you plug in a new defensive end in 5 days? Quinn even asked it himself. How do we speed up the process to get them the info and reads they need to really compete? The honest answer? You probably can't. Not against Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead. I'm telling you, this situation exposes a bigger issue in how we built this roster. We relied too much on Armstrong. We didn't have enough depth at the most important position on a modern defense. And now we're paying the price at the worst possible time. Look at what the Cowboys did with their D-line. Look at how the Eagles rotate their pass rushers to keep them fresh all season. Even the Giants, with all their issues, have more edge options than we do right now. And that's unacceptable for a team that's supposedly trying to make a playoff push. The reality is, without Armstrong, our defense goes from a unit that could hang with anyone to one that's going to have to pray for turnovers and good luck. And in this league, luck doesn't last long. Elite quarterbacks exploit it, destroy it, turn it into nightmares for defensive coordinators. So what do we do now? Well, Quinn and his staff have to get creative. They've got to find ways to generate pressure with schemes, with well-timed blitzes, with disguised coverages that confuse quarterbacks. But all of that requires your secondary to be perfect. And our secondary is already dealing with its own issues. Now I ask you, can this defense survive without Armstrong against the caliber of quarterbacks we're about to face? Or are we watching the start of a defensive collapse that could sink our entire season? Because I guarantee you, Mahomes, Darnold, and Goff are looking at these numbers and licking their chops at the chance to face a weakened defensive front. And just when you thought we were done, here comes the reality nobody wants to face, but everyone has to accept. Marcus Mariota is going to be our starting quarterback on Monday night against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. And if that doesn't send chills down your spine, you're not paying attention. Look, I respect Marcus Mariota. This guy was the number 2 overall pick back in 2015, won the Heisman at Oregon, had some bright moments with the Titans. But let's be brutally honest here. Asking Mariota to go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes is like asking a reliable sedan to win the Daytona 500. It might cross the finish line, but it's not winning the race. This will be Mariota's 3rd start of the season. And every time he's taken the field, we've seen exactly who he is at this point in his career. A solid veteran with experience and mobility. But without that X factor that separates good quarterbacks from great ones. He doesn't have Daniels' explosive arm. He doesn't have that playmaking magic that gets fans jumping out of their seats. And you know who he's going up against? The Chiefs' defense. A unit that's been completely transformed this year, playing with swagger, and built to feast on veteran quarterbacks who rely on timing and perfect execution. Steve Spagnuolo, Kansas City's defensive coordinator, is going to throw every exotic blitz and disguise coverage in the book at Mariota. But here's what really keeps me up at night. It's not just that Mariota has to face a top-tier defense. It's that he has to do it while Mahomes is on the other side lighting up the scoreboard. Because that's how these games go. It doesn't matter how well your defense plays if your offense can't keep up. The game plan for Mariota has to be flawless. And when I say flawless, I mean every single play has to be executed without mistakes. This has to be a clock control game. Effective runs, safe short passes, no unnecessary risks, no hero ball. Because every turnover, every sack, every 3-and-out gives Mams another chance. And more chances for Mahomes means more points. I believe Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury, our offensive coordinator, are going to put together a smart game plan. They'll lean on play action, try to establish the run with Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler, and do everything they can to keep Mahomes on the sideline. But even with the best plan in the world, we're asking Mariota to do something very few quarterbacks in this league can do: win at Arrowhead against the Chiefs. And you know what haunts me about this game? This isn't just another regular season matchup. This is a statement game. This is the kind of game that tells the league whether you're a real contender or just another team hoping for a wild card spot. The Chiefs are the defending back-to-back champs. They've won 3 Super Bowls in the last 6 years. And we're walking into their house without our star quarterback, without our best pass rusher. Asking a 32-year-old vet to lead us to victory. The pressure on Mariota is massive. But so is the pressure on the entire organization. Because if we lose this game, and lose it badly, the doubt is going to start creeping in. Fans will start questioning if we're really as good as we thought. The media will start writing pieces about how injuries derailed our season. And all the momentum we built in the early weeks? Gone. But here's the thing. I also see an opportunity. A chance for this team to prove it's more than just Jayden Daniels. A chance for Mariota to have his moment, to show he's still got something left in the tank. A chance for the defense, even without Armstrong, to put on the cape and play the game of their lives. Is that likely? Let's be real. The odds are stacked against us. The Chiefs are 2-touchdown favorites. Arrowhead is one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. And Mahomes in primetime is basically unbeatable. But this is the NFL, and in this league, anything can happen on any given Sunday. Or in this case, Monday night. The Commanders' roster has been wrecked by injuries this year. But when we're healthy, when our key pieces are on the field, we've shown we can hang with anyone. The problem is, we don't have those key pieces right now. And that puts us in an incredibly tough spot. Quinn's strategy has to be to keep this game close. It has to be ugly, low scoring, where every possession matters. Because if this turns into a shootout, if Mahomes starts putting up 30 or 40 points, there's no way Mariota can keep pace. He's just not that kind of quarterback at this stage of his career. Now I ask you, can Mariota surprise us? Can this veteran, this former number 2 pick who's seen it all in this league, find a way to keep the Commanders competitive against the defending champs? Or are we about to see exactly what everyone expects, a comfortable Kansas City win that exposes all our weaknesses? Because at the end of the day, this game is going to tell us a lot about who we really are as a team. It's going to show us if we have the depth to survive key injuries. It's going to show us if our coaching staff can overcome talent gaps with smart schemes. It's going to show us if this season is for real, or if it was just a mirage created by a soft early schedule. So there you have it, Commanders Nation. 3 stories shaking the very foundation of our season. Daniels on the bench with a hamstring injury that's got all of us holding our breath. Armstrong on injured reserve, leaving our defensive line more exposed than ever. And Mariota gearing up for the fight of his life against Mahomes and the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Is this the end of our playoff hopes? Or is this the moment where this team proves it has the heart and grit to overcome adversity? I'm telling you, the next 3 weeks are going to define this season. Either we collapse under the weight of these injuries, or we rise up and show we're more than the sum of our parts. And here's my final question for you. Do you trust Dan Quinn and Adam Peters to have a plan to weather this storm? Do you believe Mariota can keep the ship afloat until Daniels returns? And do you think our defense can generate enough pressure without Armstrong to keep these elite quarterbacks in check? Drop your answers in the comments. I want to know if you're as worried as I am, or if you see something I'm missing. Because this is a community. This is a family of Commanders fans who've suffered together for years. And now, in this critical moment, we need to lift each other up and keep the faith. If this breakdown gave you a new perspective, If it helped you understand the magnitude of what we're facing, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Because I promise you, tomorrow, the next day, and every day this season, I'll be right here bringing you the biggest news, the deepest analysis, and the most passionate coverage of this team. We are Commanders Nation. We've survived decades of mediocrity, bad decisions, and lost seasons. And we're not going to let a few injuries, no matter how brutal, destroy what we've built this year. We're going to back Mariota on Monday night. We're going to trust that Quinn has a plan. And we're going to hold on to the hope that when Daniels returns, this team will be ready to make a serious playoff run. So, stay locked in, stay informed, and most of all, stay believing. Because this season is far from over. And the best stories always come from overcoming the toughest adversity. And remember, hail to the Redskins!